If you have been playing Animal Hospital recently, you probably know that we are at a major turning point. The devs are dropping a massive lore update this weekend. And honestly, this might be the most important update the game has ever seen. The reason is simple. This game used to have 500,000 people playing at the same time. Now, we are down to barely 100,000. That is a massive drop. That is why this update is so important. So is this gonna save the game, or is it the actual end of Animal Hospital? Let's talk about what is coming. So what are we actually getting in this update? The developers have teased a bunch of changes, and the biggest one is that we are finally getting new story content involving Lizbeth. You guys remember Liz, right? She is the former reporter who used to work for Animal Corp before she got fired for asking too many questions. In this update, we are going to get brand new dialogues and quests with her. She is basically the only person who knows what is actually going to happen next, so having her back is a big deal. We are also finally getting out of the hospital building. The developers are expanding the map beyond those tight, crowded hospital halls. This is huge because it means the game is going to feel way more open. Currently, you spend all your time in the same few rooms, checking the same animals, and walking down the same hallways. It gets old fast. If we can actually go outside and explore a bigger map, the game will feel like a real adventure instead of just a shift simulator. To make playing the game feel a lot smoother, they are also giving us some quality of life updates. If you play this game a lot, you know how annoying it is to just sit there waiting in the lobby between shifts. You are just jumping around, waiting for the timer to tick down. They are finally shortening that wait time so we can get back to the action faster. They are also going to automate some of the tedious tasks at the reception desk, like clicking through papers and checking in patients, so we do not have to spend half our time doing virtual administrative work. They are also adding new outfits for the doctor, surgeon, and paramedic classes. This is great because right now, once you unlock everything, there is not really a reason to keep playing. Having some cool new uniforms to grind for will definitely make the game more rewarding. Plus, playing with friends is always better when you can show off a cool new surgeon outfit that took you hours to unlock. Based on that, the fandom have already given out so many theories, starting with Lizbeth. What is her deal, and what are we going to learn about her in this update? We have a few ideas about where her story is going. The first one, and the one I think has the highest chance of happening, is that we are going to learn all about her past at Animal Corp. We will probably get a detailed explanation of why they fired her. She might show us some secret files she stole before she got kicked out. Think about it. She was a reporter, so she probably has a whole stash of documents, photos, and emails showing the names of the bosses who are running the whole operation. This would give us a clear goal in the game, instead of just wandering around looking at weird things. There is another theory some players are talking about on Discord, saying we might get a flashback to her childhood. They think this because in the sneak peek picture, she looks really young, almost like a kid. But honestly, I do not think this is going to happen. A story about her childhood does not really help us solve the mystery of the infected animals, so it would kind of be a waste of time. The developers need to keep the story moving forward, not backward. Our third theory is that Liz is going to become our secret partner. Instead of just talking to her, she might give us special tools to help us sneak into the deeper parts of Animal Corp. Maybe she gives us a special scanner, a hacking device, or an upgraded camera that lets us see things we could not see before. This would add a whole new way to play the game, which is exactly what we need right now. We also have to talk about the new areas we might get to explore. In one of the teaser photos, Liz is holding a newspaper, and if you zoom in, you can see a logo for a coffee shop. This coffee shop is definitely going to be a new location. It makes perfect sense as a safe house. Since Animal Corp is always watching the hospital, we cannot just stand in the lobby and talk to her about secret files. A quiet coffee shop outside the hospital is the perfect spot to meet up and share clues without the guards spotting us. There is also a big rumor about Liz's apartment. Imagine walking into her room and finding a massive detective board on the wall with photos, notes, and red string connecting all the different animal anomalies. That would be so cool to look at and would make the world feel so much more alive. We could spend hours just looking at the board, trying to find Easter eggs and hints about future updates. But let's be real for a minute. There is a really big gap between what we want from this game and what the developers are actually giving us. This game has one of the best and darkest stories on Roblox. People on Reddit and YouTube are constantly making theory videos that get hundreds of thousands of views. Even the massive channel, The Game Theorists, made a whole video talking about how creepy the lore of Animal Corp is. I have made several videos myself breaking down the story because it is just so interesting. But the last update was honestly a letdown. The main problem was that getting the story clues was way too easy. You did not have to solve any cool puzzles or use your brain. All you had to do was play up to shift 16 or 18 and the secret office door just unlocked. That is not fun at all. It felt like a chore. You just did the same basic tasks over and over again until the game decided you had played enough to see the next part of the story. Also, the clues we found, like emails on the computers, did not have anything to do with our actual job in the game. The main part of the game is checking animals for anomalies and curing them, but the story felt completely separate from that. It felt like the developers just wrote some text files and threw them into the game without making them part of the gameplay. For example, if we find an email saying a certain animal is dangerous, that should change how we treat that animal in our next shift. But it did not. Everything stayed exactly the same, and the gameplay itself has not changed at all since the game first came out. It is the exact same routine every single time. You check the animal's heart rate, you look at their eyes, you scan them, and you give them medicine. There are no new challenges, no scary events, and nothing to keep things exciting, because the gameplay is kind of boring, but the story is so cool, players have stopped actually playing the game. They would rather just go on YouTube and watch people like me explain the story. It is way faster and more fun to watch a 10-minute video that tells you everything than to spend 3 to 4 hours grinding the same easy shifts over and over again. If the developers want people to actually play their game instead of just watching videos about it, they need to make the game itself more engaging. Because remember, this is a game before it's a story. So if the developers want to fix this, they need to change how we unlock things. Just waiting around to reach a certain shift is boring. Instead, they should give us actual missions where we have to do cool stuff. Imagine a mission where we have to sneak out of the hospital during a night shift. We would have to watch the guard patrols and make sure Dr. Harlow does not catch us. If we get spotted, we have to run and hide in a locker or under a desk. Or what if we had to climb into the vents? We could crawl through the ventilation system, looking down through the grates to see secret meetings or experiment rooms. We could steal a keycard from a locked desk and escape back to our station before the alarm goes off. That would actually make us feel like we are doing something dangerous and exciting. It would turn the game from a boring job simulator into an intensive stealth game. Overall, when we look at the future of Animal Hospital, it is clear that this game has one of the most promising stories of any game on Roblox. But the updates we have been getting lately are wasting a very loyal player base. This weekend's update is really the chance for the developers to fix their mistakes and pull the player count back up to its peak. If you want to be completely prepared for when the new update drops, there are 2 main things you should do right now. First, make sure you have completed all of Lizbeth's old quests, especially the ones where you have to collect photos of anomalies using your UV camera. Second, you should go back and reanalyze all the old clues we have found so far. Take a close look at the previous dialogues from Lizbeth and Dr. Harlow. Some details that seemed completely harmless at the time, like the articles in the newspapers or the complaints from Ron in the accounting department, might turn out to be the exact keys we need to solve the puzzles in the new locations. The game has so much potential, and we all want to see it succeed. Let's hope the developers have really put some thought into this update and that they are going to give us the challenge and the story we have been waiting for. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you don't want to miss any future videos. Also, let me know in the comments what you think about the new locations, and I will see you guys in the next video.